Good Monday evening, everyone. I am King 5 meteorologist Adam Claibon. It's been a wet day so far. We got more rain on the way heading into the night, and guess what? We're in first alert mode again tonight. Yes, because of the rain, but more so because of some of the strong winds that we're expecting with this pretty impressive area of low pressure that's just off of the coast, and an impressive satellite imagery to show you too. Let's go ahead and get into it, because this is what we're seeing right now showing up on the satellite imagery, and you can see that spin showing up in the atmosphere just off of the coast here across the Pacific Northwest. Almost an eye-looking feature right there, as that's going to be heading right to us and overhead as we go through the night. So definitely going to be an active period here into the night, and more rain on the way on top of what we've already seen at close to 2/10 of an inch around Seattle, closer to 1/3 of an inch around Olympia, 1/2 an inch in Hoquiam, and areas farther north. Well, the rain, the band that we've seen early into the day, is still working its way northward. I'm recording this as of about 5 to 6 o'clock here into your Monday evening. A more heavy band, or a heavier band, is coming in as we head on into tonight. So we're definitely going to time that out for you, and also talk about when we expect some of these strongest winds to come on in. We're in first alert mode until noon tomorrow. Now, the strongest winds with this particular event probably going to happen late tonight, and we're talking closer to midnight until about 4, 5, 6 o'clock tomorrow morning. Then we're going to start to see things gradually improve. Less wind, a little less rain as we go on throughout the rest of the morning, heading into Tuesday and into Tuesday afternoon. Plus, we got some mountain snow that we're going to talk about with those snow levels coming back down. Now, this is going to include all of us here in western Washington, but as far as where we could see some of the strongest and the peak winds, out there along the coast, maybe even some of those numbers getting up closer to 65 miles per hour. First alert mode for the first half of the day for tomorrow. Second half of the day should be quieter, and it's going to be much quieter behind that. 60 on Wednesday, looking pretty nice, and forecast not looking too bad afterwards either as we head into the week. But let's get back into what's happening here for this evening and through the night. We are seeing some mountain snow already picking up. Now, for those higher passes, we're talking elevations closer to 4,000 feet, which includes Stevens Pass, White Pass. This is going to be more of what you're seeing here into the first part of the night. Snow-covered highways, due in part because we got that temperature back closer to that freezing point. So definitely seeing that there at Stevens Pass, Snoqualmie Pass, we're a little lower, so we'll see more mixing and maybe even just more rain here as we start off into the night before that eventually does drop a little more. And then we're also seeing at least a little mixing here, but also more snow than what we're seeing at Snoqualmie Pass at White Pass. So do be careful you're traveling across this state. Let's continue on through these cameras. You can see Bellingham, cloudy skies, very, very gloomy looking there, but not as wet as what we've been seeing farther south around Everett and areas closer here to even Seattle, where we had a lot more of that moderate to heavier rain come on through. Out here towards the south coast, Westport, I wanted to show you how skies there looking a bit dark and gray, but there are certain angles too that give you a little bit of a brightness. We've seen that this front has pushed on through, and now we're just awaiting the area of low pressure itself to bring in the active weather as we go on into the night. Seattle, temperatures in the low 50s. We've been keeping things pretty mild recently because of stronger south winds, and we're only sitting at 9 miles per hour right now, but do look to see those ramp up as we head into the latter part of the night. And rain is in the forecast here through the night, with some of the heaviest rains really coming back into play for us, I would say closer to midnight and then beyond that point with that area of low pressure. Winds for us, mainly they're fairly light, or at least light in comparison to what we're going to be seeing here later on. 23, a bit higher there at Whidbey Island, 24 for us for the south coast at Hoquiam, but elsewhere anywhere between about 5 to 10 miles per hour with temperatures that are holding pretty steady in the mid to upper 40s. But I wanted to show you this because, well, check out what temperatures are looking like across the passes. A bit cool here, closer to freezing there at Stevens Pass. Won't be too much longer now, I think, at Snoqualmie Pass. White Pass actually at freezing, so we're going to put down a bit more snow here as we head on into the night, and we do have some warnings to show you about that are happening there across the Cascades. Here's the radar. You can see some pockets of heavy rain where you have some of those yellows and oranges popping up right over the Kitsap Peninsula heading northward. Quilcene seeing some of that. Port Townsend, that'll be heading right towards you and up towards the north, where areas here into the early part of the night around Camano and Whidbey Island up across Skagit and Whatcom County will be dealing with some of that moderate to heavier rain. But this is all part of phase 1 and wave 1 of what we're going to be seeing 2 of here as we head on into the evening. Behind this will be that area of low pressure that is spinning just off of the coast and not really showing up too much here yet, but as I zoom out, you can see that spin right there showing up on radar and satellite imagery, and even some instability in the atmosphere where you do have some lightning strikes right off of the Oregon coast right there. A little more energy down that way. Could see some of that maybe try to sneak its way into the southern part of the state, but shouldn't be a huge concern for us as we head into the night. But a gorgeous shot again of that area of low pressure that is right there off of the coast as it continues to spin right towards us here as we head on into the night. So we'll be keeping an eye on that as well as the track of that to see exactly where we are. Going to be keeping an eye out for some of those strongest winds here into your Monday evening. Now let's talk about warnings, because we do have high wind warnings out until 10 a.m. tomorrow morning. Everywhere that you see more in that burnt orange color, well, that's where we could see some of those gusts getting up to 60, 65 miles per hour. Now, the highest of that range, 65 miles per hour, probably out towards the coast, I'm thinking. This has been extended earlier this morning by the National Weather Service farther east to include us here around Puget Sound and the eastern part of the Kitsap Peninsula, as well as parts of southwest interior. And I think closer to maybe 55, 60 miles per hour is where we'll be peaking out at as far as some of those higher gusts. And then we have wind advisories. Those are where we possibly will not be seeing winds quite as high, but definitely still respectable, around 50 miles per hour in those locations in more of the tan shading right there. That also until 10 a.m. tomorrow morning. Out across the Cascades, winter storm warnings until 4 p.m. heading to Tuesday. Those elevations above 4,000 feet could see anywhere between 12 to 18 inches, so a foot to a foot and a half. And that includes us to Stevens Pass and White Pass, closer to that 4,000 foot range, where Snoqualmie Pass, will be a little under those numbers right there, but still we'll start to see some snow out of this as we head on into the evening and through the night. And then we do still have flood watches out there. These have definitely been trimmed back from what we had over the weekend, but this is in effect until 1 p.m. tomorrow. For those areas that you see shaded in the green, we're going to have some excess runoff from some of the periods of heavy rain that we still expect here over the next 12 to 36 hours. So looking at future wind gusts, you can see initially we're not seeing a whole lot of wind, especially as we head on into the early part of the evening. Here we are closer to midnight, and this is going to be that time when we do start to see those winds pick up. You start to notice that those gusts getting closer to 40, 45 miles per hour are right around that midnight time, as this area of low pressure is right there. That's not what I wanted to show you right there. Let's see if we can change that up for you. Yeah, as that's beginning to work its way right closer to our area. So that will be working its way into our region here as we head on into later tonight. And again, that's looking like it's going to be closer to midnight, but even ahead of that, I think gusts closer to about 30, 40 miles per hour, definitely going to be within the realm of possibility into the first half of the night, just more so later on around 9 or 10. We continue on later on into the night and then into early tomorrow morning, and this is when you start to see things change up a little bit. We still have more of that south wind coming on in, south-southwest wind, gusts up around 40 to 45, 50 miles per hour, and that's going to be sweeping on through. Now, our advisories officially end at 10 a.m. with these. We do expect to still see breezy conditions into later tomorrow afternoon. It just looks like they won't be quite as high. Here we are at 2:30. You can see those winds definitely beginning to come down at that point and definitely beginning to decrease as we head into tomorrow evening and tomorrow night. Now, as we look at snow levels, you see that those numbers are falling back down closer to around 4,000 to 3,500 feet. This is what's going to help to produce some of the heavier snow that we're expecting across the mountains before things actually jump quite nicely, which is something we're going to talk about later on into the forecast here. But looking at Futurecast, you can see next few hours here into the first part of the night, initial band of rain moves northward. It's more scattered showers as we head into the first part of the night. It's not going to be until, here we are, about 9 or 10 o'clock when that area of low pressure gets much closer to us just off of the coast that we're starting to see some of that heavier rain returning. And it's coming in with more of a steadiness at this point. And it's with all those yellows that you see, the oranges, even some spotty reds in there. That's some heavy rain that's coming down here late into the night. So if you can try to get home before about 9 or 10 o'clock tonight, going to be your best bet. But this is all moving on through. Plus, at the same time, you see that blue showing up across the Cascades. A lot of it as that area of low pressure spins on in. That's all snow, and that's coming down at a heavy clip too. So that'll be moving on through here as we head on into tomorrow morning, and still with us even as we head into the afternoon hours. And keep an eye out for those of us into northern King County, parts of Snohomish County. Convergence zone activity looks like that might set up for us as we head into the early part of the afternoon, keeping things a bit more active, especially up around Stevens Pass, to help to initiate and to produce a bit higher snow totals there and to keep maybe some higher rain totals up across areas closer to that King County and Snohomish County line as we head on into the night. As far as additional rain to come, anywhere between about a quarter to a quarter of an inch to an inch of rain. Rain shadowed areas farther to the north, we'll see possibly less up that way around Bellingham, Friday Harbor, Port Townsend even a little less than what we're seeing farther south, but generally still pretty similar to what we've been noticing across the board. Out towards the coast, maybe a bit higher, up to about an inch, maybe an inch and a half. And Olympia too, we might be one of those spots that get in on a little more of the rain. Now, as we continue on, snow amounts are looking like they are going to be higher around Stevens Pass and up around Mount Baker as well, and then down towards White Pass. Snoqualmie Pass, I will take that with a grain of salt. Like we told you, snow levels get back down to about 3,500 feet, maybe at their lowest. So we'll see snow, just not going to pile up as much. We'll probably keep that closer to about, I think, 10 inches, maybe even 8 inches if we're not cooling down enough here as we head on into the night. But still, either way, some fresh snow on the way to kind of replenish what we lost here over the weekend as we head over these next 12 hours. So let's take a look at what we're expecting tonight-wise. Temperatures dropping down, some in the 30s, I think more so into the 40s for a lot of those overnight lows. And then highs tomorrow in the lower 50s as this system will spin on out of here, start to work its way off to the east, and things really do quiet down by the middle to latter part of the day on Tuesday. Again, still in first alert mode here through the night into the earlier part of the day for Tuesday. And then we're going to be rewarded after all of this. Wednesday, partly sunny skies, some fog maybe into the morning. If that sticks around, maybe we don't get up to 60, but we're going to try our best to get up to 60 degrees. And then we'll see more mid to upper 50s with only a few showers around. Thursday, your chances will be in place generally north of Seattle, and then on into your Saturday, looks like we'll see an increasing chance more so into the afternoon and throughout the evening. But again, this evening is going to be one of those prime times that you're going to want to really be weather aware because of some of the stronger winds. And really when the peak winds are coming, many of us might be in the bed, might be in our homes, getting ready to go to sleep. So we definitely wanted to get the word out just so in case if you do incur any or do have any power outages that might happen, or possibly too if you live in one of those areas that have a lot of trees and branches and areas where we could see some of those fall, that could help to produce maybe some damage along with that. So just be extra aware here into the night. Make sure you have your plans if you do lose power, but I think we should be done with this by the time we head into tomorrow afternoon. Okay, everyone, stay safe. Have a great Monday evening, and we'll talk to you soon.